Here at the Bernabeu, they are celebrating in white as well. They might. Another trophy already in this young season for the Merengues. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play any part, did he, in the second leg, but on the field, celebrating with his teammates. A demolition job, really.
You're going to start sharing these trophies around a little bit these days.
They're hugging them all.
You know, when Barcelona were winning things for fun, we were Barcelona fans. Now it's Real Madrid. We're Real Madrid fans, according to our people that follow us on Twitter. But you have to admire, you've got to admire the good play they've had over the last couple of years. Since Benitez got the sack, and I don't think that gave him a great chance, and Zidane came in with less experience, they have been absolutely outstanding. So kudos to the manager, but he's got some wonderful players to work with.
And on this evidence, Real Madrid are streets ahead, aren't they?
Real Madrid are streets ahead of not just Barcelona, not just everybody in Spain, but right now everybody else in European football. It has been a completely dominating display. And again, when you think of Real Madrid, and not just how good the starting 11 are, how deep that bench is, the players, the young players that they have coming through, they look good not only right now, but for the future. It is scary for everybody else.
And they showed two aspects, didn't they? Defensively, if they want to press teams, they can press teams. The first part of that first half, they were all over Barcelona. Barcelona couldn't connect passes and play it out. And then when they needed to sit back, they could sit back and catch people on the counter. It's just an impressive setup they have going there.
Oh, well, I suppose there'll be another party for these boys tonight. You know, a few vol au vents and a few cheese and ham sandwiches.
I think that may be the smallest trophy of the campaign. It still takes two of them to lift it, by the way.
Yeah, but it's sweeter because of the team, obviously, that beat the biggest rivals. When you talk about Premier League clubs, how can they not compete against top-level European competition? There's your answer. Yeah. That's the standard bearer. Real Madrid have set the standard, and it's up to the rest, Barcelona included, to catch up.
And as you say, doing it without Bale in the starting lineup, doing it without Isco, doing it without Casemiro, how frightening is that? How deep is this team?
Doing it without Ronaldo for not just the second leg, but coming off the bench for the first leg. So he didn't even feature a whole lot. We kind of jokingly, almost tongue-in-cheek at times, we're talking about Real Madrid's B team back end of last season and how well Zidane used his rotations to get players in, yet they kept winning. Again, you look at this team, you look at the depth, you look at the quality of not just the starting 11, but you can go 18 deep, and it is worrying.
You take players like you take players like Modric from Tottenham, you improve them. You take Ronaldo from Man United, who's a great player, you improve them. You take Casemiro, you improve them. I mean, they're not just signing the top guys. They're signing players and improving them. You take Gareth Bale, he gets better.
And you bring in the younger players like Asensio, and you look at Vasquez, and they don't really miss a beat. They have the capability to play in tight spaces. They pass the ball quickly. When they need to be able to take players on one-on-one, they can do that too. And you just realize the setup, as I talked about earlier, that these guys understand that some games they might not play, but they're every bit a part of this team, and they're every bit a part of the championships that they possibly can win. And that sort of attitude is so important for championship teams.
Now, I know our colleague Stuart Robson, who's not here at the moment, back in England, but he would be delighted to talk about the two fullbacks. He loves fullbacks, Robbo. and Marcelo and Carvajal are unmatched in the job they do, widening the pitch, going forward, getting back. You add that to the departure of Pepe and the emergence of Varane, who's made himself a regular now. His pace next to Ramos is getting at times Ramos out of so many problems, because we know he makes mistakes. That's what Sergio Ramos does. But if you watch today's game in particular, at one point Suarez spun Brian saw it. He spun Varane in the halfway line, and before you know it, within 5 yards, Varane was back in and nailed him. His pace is frightening, and when you put all that behind a midfield that are so good passing the ball going forward, it's difficult to see where they're going to slip up Adrian this year.
Barcelona dominated European football, didn't they, for about 5 years under Pep Guardiola. This is, you know, second year as Zinedine Zidane. Are they set up to do what Barcelona did?
Yes.
Well, third year, but it's second full year. Second full year.
Yeah.
Are they set up
Yes, they are.
To do what Barcelona did?
Yes, they are. Not just by...
And even extend that?
And quite possibly even extend that. Not just because of what they've been able to do in this pre-season, as it were, but because of how good they've looked, and again, how deep the squad is, how young the squad can be if he decides to go deep into his bench. Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo is now post-30, and you expect his superpowers to start to wane. But as Craig mentioned, so many of these players continue to get better. Spoke about Varane, who was always good for an error 3 or 4 years ago, completely turned around and as sure-footed as a defender as there is in the game. You talk about Isco, again, not used today. Asensio, who continues to amaze. Kovacic, it goes on, and it looks so good for Real Madrid.
On the flip side, you have to look at Barcelona and think they need to use some of that money and use it quick. You set up this team with 2 forwards. Eventually, you really only had one because Messi actually had to drop into the midfield. They had trouble passing out of the back with the pressure of Real Madrid. And you need to be able to strengthen this team.
But you're getting quoted 150 million for Dembele. You're getting quoted somewhere around the same for Coutinho. You need midfielders. You need defenders. I'm not sure. You know, you talk about spending the money, it's going to take a lot more than just what they get from Neymar.
You know, the big worry is if results go bad and things are not going great, if Messi gets disgruntled on top of the Neymar departure, then there's big problems.
Well, and that's, we saw Suarez, feeling hamstrung, and that becomes more of a concern, doesn't it, for Barcelona?
Yeah, the squad, I mean, if you've got a new coach coming in and he's lost one of the world's best players, you're going to want him to go and spend money to give yourself a chance. Valverde now should be going to that board, to his owners and his bosses and saying, look how far we are behind. We need to do business before this transfer window ends, or we've got some big problems. And if he's not backed, he'll not be in this job come next summer.
But you talk about Barcelona spending money. They have spent money in the past. They've spent money trying to bolster the squad, trying to prepare it for times like these when players start filtering out of the first 11. But they've made an absolute mess of that year over the last 2 or 3.
Not long at all for Ernesto Valverde and company to go to work. The transfer window closing in about 3 weeks. Let's go back to Fernando and Hercules.
Marcelo the cross. Gerard Piqué put it into his own net. Ronaldo! Golazo! No shot, no problem! It's not a penalty, it's a tie!
It's all gone, man. It's all gone crazy. Batteries are charged. We are all ready. It's Asensio! Goal! Here's Benzema, turns, goal! Real Madrid keep on cruising and collecting jewelry. They win the Supercopa de España and their 4th title in 2017.